Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your final speaker, and I think the speakers before me made my job a little bit easier. I'll hopefully try to tie together quite a bit of what you've heard already, really exploring the intersection between biodiversity and conservation and how this really relates to how biodiversity really is Guyana's future. Before I start though, I'd like to clarify one thing. Many times we hear the word conservation being thrown around, and it's sometimes thrown around with preservation and protection. And they're sometimes seen as saying the same thing. And I think therein lies part of the confusion and the opposition when we engage in conversations around biodiversity and the future of Guyana. Because inevitably, many persons feel that you're coming to have a conversation about how you ensure that Guyana maintains its status as one of the poorest nations on the face of the earth. I hope that by the time I'm done, you will be convinced that conservation actually is the way that we can demonstrate to the world that we are one of the richest nations in the world, and that we can actually elevate that status by showing how through biodiversity conservation, that is the way that we can actually, that really is the future of Guyana. When we think about the modern environmental movement, it really started off at a time when words preservation and protection were very popular. And if you think about the literal meaning of those words, they mean either you put it away somewhere or you lock it off and you protect it from persons. And I remember when I first started working in real hardcore conservation in Guyana, and we were engaging on a particular protected area. One of the questions that we found very baffling to answer at the beginning is protection from whom and for whom. And really understanding that context of the literal meaning of protection being to guard against something. The whole movement on environmentalism and so on has really moved to using words like conservation, really to demonstrate that really what we're talking about is not locking away and not using, but rather wise use. How you can find ways to use and not lose the natural wealth that we have. And therefore, in this context, conservation is not anti-development. In fact, conservation is essential if development is to be sustainable and sustained. But how do we, as Guyanese, in the unique position where we are in one, as you heard before, one of the greenest countries on the face of the earth, while at the same time being one of the poorest nations on the face of the earth, and if you listen to some, those two could never go together. How do we use this unique opportunity where we are to actually demonstrate that there is a way in which we can improve the human condition, the conditions in which Guyanese live, basically, so improve the human conditions in a way that actually maintains our natural wealth. I think one of the major things, or one of the first steps that we really need to take is to ensure that we better understand that natural wealth and understand that everything is connected. You would have heard this before. When we speak about agriculture, it's not only about the biodiversity in the crops and the animals that we consume, but also the very complex web of organisms and inorganic matters that must interact to be able to provide fertile soil, to provide water, to provide the air that is necessary for us to be able to produce the food that we eat. And really understanding those complex connections will help us to be able to make better decisions on how we manage that wealth to produce the kind of future that we would like. And we must find ways in which we can pursue the improvement in our human condition that really maintains and in some cases enhance that natural wealth. We would have heard some of the ways in which that could be done whether it's using local biodiversity in agriculture, so looking at how we can actually use the biodiversity that we have, such as cassava and so on, to become more of a part of our diet. We would have heard about reduced impact logging and how you can actually find ways, in fact what's being demonstrated in finding ways to extract logs in a way that does not result in significant impacts on the biodiversity. Looking at sustainable tourism, where instead of, and I like to use this story in the way that Honorable Vice President Sigyan talks about it, where if you trap a parrot, you get to sell it once, but if people pay to come to look at that parrot, you can actually sell that parrot over and over and over again. And to finding ways to learn from what's being done in other parts of the world. So from zero budget farming, where instead of having lots of inorganic inputs into crop production, you actually work with the biodiversity within the soil to maintain soil fertility, and you use integrated pest management in which you use no chemicals, but you use natural biodiversity elements really to control pests and diseases. Looking at how mangroves are important for the maintenance of our coast, and understanding that conserving 1 kilometer of mangroves, and the sanitary June is here and she can give you the numbers. Conserving 1 kilometer of mangroves, the cost of doing that is minuscule in comparison to the cost of building 1 kilometer of hard sea fence, and we're building and maintaining that 1 kilometer of hard sea fence. To looking at ways in how we develop the road networks that are essential for us. If we're going to put a road through a wetland, we have to understand how that wetland functions and build the road in a way that accommodates the continued functioning of that wetland. Similarly, if you're going to build a road through forest, we have to ensure that the way in which we build the road and the way in which we manage the road, importantly in the lands around the road, understands the natural wealth that is being impacted, and put measures in place really to minimize, if not eliminate, those negative impacts. So really we need to incorporate the understanding of the value and the wealth or the impacts on the natural wealth of our development aspirations, and really find very smart ways of ensuring that what we have is truly sustainable and sustained development, not only for us now, but for all future generations of Guyana. As I said before, I think Guyana is at a unique place. We are a very unique place in the face of the earth, and we have a very unique opportunity before us. And I know that we are very smart people, and we'll make very smart decisions about how we incorporate our natural wealth into the development of our future. Thank you.